Okay. Well, good evening. Welcome to the Commission on Disabilities January 12th, 2021 meeting. Happy New Year to everyone, to all the commission members and to the residents. First, this meeting was not going to be televised live on Revere TV. It's not going to be televised live tonight on Channel 9, but it is being televised live on Channel 8. So we are live on one channel, and then it will be rebroadcasted on Channel 9. There was just a conflict in the meeting, so I just wanted to let everyone know. So what we will do is we will, I have my trusty little flag. So if we would all just salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. Right, and I will do a roll call of the members. Enza Goodwin.
Present.
Pauline Perno.
Present.
Robert Bent.
Present.
Asma. Fuda, am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yes, correct. Abu Fuda, yeah. Present.
Okay. And Jason Barone.
Yep, present.
Okay. Ralph Chico, myself, I'm present. And the only one that's absent that may be calling in on my phone that I will get live is new commission member Brian Vesci. So I'm waiting to see if he'll call in on my phone. And then if he does, then I can patch him in that way. But for right now, we just put him as absent. The first item, item number 1, is a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the December 8th, 2020 meeting. I had sent a copy to all the commission members in an email to everyone. So if you all hopefully were able to take a look at those, if there's any questions, if there are any errors on it, please just let me know.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A second, okay. So we have a motion to approve by Jason, and it was seconded by Enza. Thank you. Okay. So item number 2 was going to be an introduction from the new commission member, Brian Vesci, but he was having a procedure done today. So if he was able to, he was going to call in. So we'll just table that in case he does call in. And what we will do is we will move to item number 3, which is updates, next steps from the December meeting. What we had is we had discussed, and there was a motion made to draft a letter by commission members, and it was taken that task was taken up by Asma, that she was going to draft a letter, and I had sent the letter to all the commission members to take a quick look at. I did receive some notes from Pauline to add the address of the centralized police station to it. Also, that we can add into that letter that they can notify the MBTA police on that.
I was going to say they could also CC that because they have jurisdiction at all the T stations anyway. So either way, I was thinking of that after. I'm glad you brought that up.
Robert brought that up to me, mentioned that to me.
Great.
I'm not sure if anybody else had any other questions. I'm pretty sure, I think everything else was covered in that letter. If anybody else knows of anything that that was missed, if you wanted to let me know now or by email, what I'm thinking of doing is just putting that on the Commission on Disabilities letterhead. And I was going to send it by email. I'll attach it as a letter and send it over. I didn't know if you wanted me to say members of the Commission on Disabilities on it, or if you want me to list everyone's name individually on the bottom of the letter. Whatever the will of the commission is what I will do. So if anybody has any opinion on how I should do that, usually I will put the commission members names on it. That
that's what I would say, is just list them all out.
Yeah. So I'll list everybody's name onto the bottom of the letter, the final letter. What I will also do, I will send everyone a copy of the letter. Maybe I will blind copy all you members, so that you'll see the letter that will go out, and I will try and have that done within the next day or two. Unless I'll wait until Thursday to see if any other members want anything else changed in that letter or added to it. And besides the two that I had just mentioned, and then I will send that over. I think it basically covered.
One thing I would add, Ralph, would be I would CC the state police because they have jurisdiction to the beach, which is that because of that area. You know, I'm just saying, so they're all working together, so they're aware of the same type of people. Yeah,
what I can do is if they can notify the state police and the MBTA police.
Yep, together.
Yeah. Yep, I'll have them. This way I'll send it to our local law enforcement and then asking them if they can contact the appropriate authorities at the MBTA police and the state police.
Right.
Ralph, another thought. Should that go to the traffic commission too? Especially with all the new, the traffic commission with all the new resident parking and stuff up there? Should something like that go to them so they know what's going on?
What commission?
He's asking the traffic commission.
Well, the chief of police is part of the traffic commission, so then in order for anything to go to them, you could take it out from. You would take it up from them in order for something to go in front of the traffic commission.
Okay.
Anyone else have any other questions or comments on that? Okay. So we'll move on that. I'll take care of that, and I'll send it out and send a copy to the commission members. Item number 4 was CODA, the Commission on Disabilities Alliance was monthly conference call, which took place on January 6th, last Wednesday. The meeting was a brief meeting this month. Basically, there was some discussion. There was discussions mostly from the cities and towns regarding accessible parking spaces within each city or town. And what was discussed on that is, there's a state law that you cannot remove an accessible space without putting a new one in nearby the location. So if a handicap spot has to be moved for some type of a reason in a parking lot, there is a law for that. Also, there was also discussed that the AAB does not cover any on-street parking, only parking lots for handicap accessible rules and regulations. And the ADA does not cover on-street handicap parking spots. But there is a stipulation that was put in after the ADA was created. That's called Proag. I'm sure Jason might know about that too.
Yeah.
Proag is very intense and very big, and this covers a lot of the details that were not covered in the initial ADA. In that it covered, one of the areas that it does cover is accessible parking. Accessible parking on the streets, which tells you the regulations, the widths, the sizes, and whatnot. So a lot of people have the misinformation that the ADA and the AAB covers handicap accessible parking on public streets, which it does not. So that was one of the main areas of topics that they discussed, that we discussed at that monthly meeting. So the exact law, the commission from Boston was going to send us the exact law, just detailing that part, because the law is so big in the Proag that she was going to be sending that to all the commissions. But we have not received it yet, or else I would have been able to give that exact law to everyone and detail it. So if I do receive that by the next month's meeting, I'll just send everyone a copy of it so that they will be able to see what that is. There was also just some brief discussions on a lot of cities and towns are using the streets now for more than just vehicles driving down, and bike lanes are going in now, and that's where a lot of spots are now being taken. But in Revere, I think Revere is doing a very good job at how they're doing it. You have Julie DeMauro, who is really on top of bringing in the bike lanes, being very respectful of parking spots. Handicap spots none of the handicap spots anywhere have been removed. Also, all meter spots, you can park at a metered spot if you have a handicap placard or plate without having to pay the meter. So there isn't really a problem with that in the city, in our city. So there really isn't much to report on that. I don't know if anyone has any questions or concerns about that. What I'd like to do, and I don't know who's gonna, if anybody would have time, I know that everybody here basically works, but if anybody has time for the next month's meeting, it's usually it's the first Wednesday of every month at 12 o'clock. It's 12 to 1:30. I invite anyone that wants to join on one of those meetings. I could let you know. And it's a Zoom. They went Zoom now on them instead of it used to be just by the phone. But now they're doing Zoom instead of just over the telephone. So anybody's around for the next month's meeting, I'll send out a reminder, and you're more than welcome to come on to that meeting too.
Great.
The next item on the agenda is item 5, which was the CPAC events and updates, which was scheduled January events, and I'm gonna pass that over to Enza.
Thanks, Ralph. Yeah, so generally we like to include all our information right on the agenda, but we were a little behind this month with information. So what I can share with you is that Revere CPAC is holding our monthly meeting Thursday, January 21st at 6 p.m. via Zoom. And we are fortunate to have Rick Frenny, who plans on presenting at our meeting, and he is going to engage parents, those with young adult children 18 and over, to talk about next steps after high school, or just as they're starting to get ready to near the end of high school, next steps including insurance and different programming such as housing. So we're looking forward to it. Our hope is that we can get some folks to sign up. We try to have a meeting run if we have 5 or more participants. So unfortunately, we've had to cancel the last 3 meetings because we have not had any parents sign up.
So as of right now, the meeting is scheduled for the 21st. If there is no participation, that meeting will be getting. Will you still have a meeting and just record it for it to go on? Is it going to be on televised on Revere TV also live?
No. So we have not gone the route yet of televising our meetings, and the reason we have not gone ahead and continued with the meetings is often the people presenting at our meetings are volunteers who are working during the day. And for them, it's not beneficial enough just to record a meeting. Their meetings thrive on participation. So if we don't have anyone that comes to a meeting, beyond them sharing some information, there's not much to go on after that.
All right. So is there a deadline for when the meeting will?
We usually keep it open right up until the night before, just in hope that maybe if someone sees it last minute or if their plans change, that they are able to join.
Is it on Revere TV that the meeting is happening?
I don't know. I'd have to check with Jackie Roy because she's the school liaison who handles.
Yeah. The other thing is the city of Revere's calendar. They should be putting it on, and it can go on. Talk to Revere 311. Okay. The other thing that they should try and use is the school department, because they're sending out weekly emails. I know the high school sends one out on Sundays, and that would probably be, I know the principal of the high school is sending one out on Sundays, whereas that's the demographic that you're, one of the demographics for this meeting, correct, after high school. So you might want to talk to try and putting it in Dr. Perella's Sunday email
Okay.
from the high school, that they can promote it that way. So that may help.
Thank you.
And I think if you translate it also to like other language, so the other people like the Arab community or Spanish community can know it, because sometimes if they didn't get it in their language, they didn't know when it's gonna happen. Like what we usually do in if we have a meeting in the school community or for the city of Revere.
Yeah. The other thing, Enza, you could do too is if you get that, do you know if there's a present flyer or anything in English for the meeting?
There is, yes.
All right, because if you get that to me, then I could get it to on the city side I have a weekly Monday meeting, and we could put it in our notes and promote it, that it will go out to everybody in our newsletter that goes out to everyone, and then it could be promoted in different areas with that flyer. And I can also ask them, Asma, like Asma said, then I can ask them to see if they can translate it into Spanish and Arabic for you.
Okay.
That may help for you. Anyone else have any questions on that? Okay. Next is item number 6, and this is something that I'll read it, and then we can have a little bit of a discussion. The Revere Commission on Disabilities also has received reusable masks that are clear to enable households where lip reading is necessary to be protected. Please let us know if you could use one. We ask that you please do not request one unless you need it, because they are hard to come by. It could be very important for communication, access, and safety in some households. So it is not for cosmetic use for it. It is for people for lip reading in areas of that. So that's what the use of these masks are for. So they're for people that are hearing impaired, that need the lip reading, or that need to see how certain words are pronounced. I have some for children that need for the phonetics, if I'm saying that correctly, and for that are hard of hearing. So that's what they are for. They would, the best avenue of letting us know is via email. It's just going to be one per household for on a limited quantity as we have them. And I just need suggestions on it. What I've been doing already is I've been hand delivering them myself right now, but I'm probably going to need some help on that. We're going to have to figure out how to do that. But like I said, I want to stress that these are only for people in households that need them, that are hearing impaired, that rely on lip reading. I don't know if anybody else could be more eloquent and elaborate on that for me.
Basically, anyone who has a speech or language impairment, not even a hearing impairment, because part of the whole thing with hearing is to be able to visualize the mouth movements. And so on the part of say there's a child who is having speech and language therapy, they particularly would need one so that the therapist or the individual that's working with them is able to see that they are progressing appropriately, rather than staying stationary and not getting the skill that they need. So that's one end of it. And on the other end of it is people that are hearing impaired that need it to visualize what the speaker is saying. So there's different scenarios, and I think we're going to have to be real careful about evaluating, and having some kind of a baseline for where these are being given out and who's accessing them. And the other thing is, are these, say that you give one to an adult in the house who is working with a hearing impaired child or a child that's getting speech language therapy that's not necessarily hearing impaired, but may need to be able to visualize. Are these reusable, Ralph, or are these?
These are reusable. No, they're reusable.
Great.
Yeah,
Good
they're
to know,
reusable.
because that will also help in accessing, and maybe, I don't know if they're ever going to be available for like an individual or a smaller group to access their own in bulk rather than getting them through us. Or, if that might be a possibility at some point down the road, depending on what, transpires with all this. So it's very, I think that we're going to have to really look at situations and make sure that,
Child.
Nice.
That's the child. This is just a colored sample one.
Right.
This isn't the color that I have. This is, and these are the adult ones.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
they
so
come
I think
either
that if
over the
we're
ear or
talking about,
behind the head.
yeah, if we're talking about kids that are getting speech language services, whether it's
That's
for
the
hearing
company.
impairment or just for their speech and language development, if they're lagging behind, if they were born preemie, if they had other significant issues going on, I think that we really need to take a look at where those things are going to make sure that they get in the right hands, so that it's fine if the adult has one, but if the child also needs one, it'd be kind of counterproductive if only half of that gets taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ralph,
great.
I think I know the answer to this, but I just want to clarify. So I would imagine once kids are back in person, whenever that's going to be, I would imagine the school department would handle providing them to the students that receive speech services in the school, correct?
I'm hoping.
One could hope.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
you hope and pray, but that doesn't
One
necessarily.
could hope is that's what they purchased with CARES money.
Yeah, it depends on the district. I'm going to be honest with you. The more wealthy districts are going to be going out of their way for stuff like that. And I just mean it as to be someone who's received services from city. I lived in a reasonably wealthy district, in Connecticut. So I know the difference, and trust me, it's depending on the district. So that's something you might want to check into, Ralph, and make sure that along with other cities, along with us, and make sure everybody's getting what they need with that.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Yeah. Like I said,
Disability-
if they do go back to special needs teachers. I have some for them that they can reach out to me.
Right.
But if there's an overwhelming number from the district, I'm not going to be able to support all of them.
No.
This
course
is
not.
something that we're hoping that they foreseen, and if they had intended on going back when they were going back, they were planning on before the outbreak that they were going to go back in September as hybrid. You would hoping that they did get some of these already on hand for those children, but me, I'm proactive. I was planning on getting these anyway for that, but I wouldn't have enough if there's an abundance to feed a whole school district.
Right.
I just wanted to mention that because I could see that request blossoming if the announcement came along.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So the logistics is, but yeah, we're gonna have to figure out how it is, and it's not gonna be like if somebody calls it, I'm gonna be able to get them delivered right to them, and we don't have an office. We don't want people coming in and getting them. So I'm looking for my ideas from my commission members because I was delivering them when I could, but it's tough to do. Luckily, the ones I was delivering weren't that far of an area to go, and I did have a little bit of downtime that I could take care of it. And I don't know how else we could do it because I don't want to have a central location. I don't want people to have to go out and pick these up. So just looking at ideas, so we could, you could send me your thoughts offline on what to do now that I have them physically in my hands.
I think that maybe once we get an idea of geographically, like say that there are 4 requests for people in North Revere and, 5 requests down in Beachmont. I drive, and yes, I do go out of the house, and I'm more than willing to help. but maybe like dividing out into sectors so that, you know, that you're not doing all the deliveries, I'm not doing them all, but maybe getting that piece of it. The other thing is too, is if these, I just had a thought that dividing the city into quadrants or that kind of thing, to divide it out would also be a possibility. That's if we get the requests in, you know, all at the same time. But if you get one and then it's a week or 2 weeks later, then you get another one, but at the same location, that's really not good time management. So you kind of want to, you don't want to put out, hey, we're asking for a request, but you kind of want to move it along so that you get the bulk in and can divide it out appropriately.
Yeah, we have to have the specific criteria, like I said, because we need these to go into the people that need them, not for cosmetic purposes, not for any other needs. Enza, did you have your hand up? Oh no, that was my mouse. Sorry.
No, I didn't, but I'm also.
I lost you for a second. We lost your sound, Enza. Anybody else here, Enza?
I'm sorry,
No.
Ralph.
Okay.
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back now. I had mentioned the other option of if it came to it, why couldn't folks maybe come and pick them up from us if need? If you got so many requests.
Well, everything is by appointment, and we don't have an office, and we don't.
No, I mean to personally come to where we live, and we.
Oh yeah, we could do that too.
Or leave them
Yeah.
outside. I mean, I think it's amazing how much delivery we do as a city, but at some point, people might need to come out and get. If they need.
We could do that. Yeah, we could possibly do that too.
I think a lot of it's going to depend on seeing where the response is coming from. You know, is the majority here, or is it just totally scattered, and then go from there? But I think that, like you said, we need to have the criteria really kind of down pat before, you know, the distribution, because if it goes to one person and then someone else turns around and says, well, so-and-so got it because of this, and I want it because of that, you know, you don't want stuff getting all jumbled up as far as that. So I think that, you know, let's start at the beginning and get us settled with what are the criteria, and then go from, you know, take the next.
We should put it, what we should do is, before we can distribute any of these or any residents, they could notify us, but we have to set up a criteria first, and then we'd have to notify them to see if they meet the criteria. Does anybody want to set up a criteria, like a form for us to have internally to check off when people call to see if they meet the criteria for them, or?
Yes, I can do
Well,
it.
kind of like a form, like what they do for like the packing HP signs.
Well, it's not going to be a form for them to fill out. It's just going to be a form for us. We're not going to give anybody a form because we don't want paperwork going back and forth. When people, you know, So, what's the best way to do that? Any suggestion, Pauline? What do you think? Is there a bullet point criteria, or
Well, that's what I'm trying to visualize, like almost like a.
Do you want to contact Asma?
That might be easier, and then we can work on it together, and you know, and get it done. Something. It has to be something relatively simple and quick, because if we get into so many questions, then nobody's going to want it, and that's going to be counterproductive as well.
No, exactly. It would be counterproductive.
Yep. I will absolutely get in touch with Asma, and we can work on it and hash something out and get it, you know, get it for distribution amongst us, and see if there's stuff that we're missing, stuff that we too far, too not enough, whatever. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So that was item number 6. Item number 7 is commission members' late items. I'll open this up to any commission members that would like to speak on any item or concerns or questions that's not on the agenda, that we didn't make it to the agenda. Any commission member have anything?
Yes, I have one.
Asma?
Yeah, so I wanted to mention about the kids in the Revere Public School with the disability. So it's almost the second semester, and they haven't done anything for these kids with the disability, the Revere Public School. And I mentioned to the Revere Public School, the Zoom isn't working with for them, and they can't focus through the screen because they need in person. And we know that Boston Public School already open and have a plan for kids with disability. Yes, I know, I understand that we are a high risk, but when I see the private school are open since October, it's hurt my feeling because I have also 2 kids with a disability, and I wanted to see any plan for them, like one-on-one tutoring, anything that can help, because now their education is just as important as other kids, and they didn't get anything for this semester.
Okay. And I'm sure that, I've been pretty outspoken on this since September, and I keep asking at any meeting that I get on.
Yeah.
And my asking has been misconstrued that it's a knock on the special ed teachers, and it's not. They're going over and above and really working so hard, and it's just like it's nothing. That the special education teachers are working so hard, but they can only do what they can do with the tools that they are given. And to me, I just like I say, it is a forgotten demographic. Not only in the school systems, it's a forgotten demographic in society. It is, I hate to put it that way, but that's my feelings. It's definitely a forgotten demographic.
No, it's the truth. All right, Ralph. You might as well say it, call it out there. Why hide it? It's the truth. I mean, it's unfortunate, and as was corrected, there's no reason for that. This is the fault of the superintendent, though, because the reality is that's their duty to make sure that these kids are not put out. They need to go out of their way to figure this part out. And if Boston did it and Perkins did it up in Watertown, how the heck, you know what I mean? And you imagine when you have deaf and blind at the same time, you know what I'm saying? And it's and it doesn't have to be that they have to come into the school buildings. They don't have to have them come into the school buildings.
Yeah.
They could have it. They could have them at their home. There's all different ways that it could be done. It is being done. All right. And I don't want to elaborate too much more on that. But it is being done. It would have been, I would have been able to have more students do it, but for some reasons not worth mentioning, I wasn't able to. But it is, that's in the past, but we need to move forward. Something needs to be done now. Enza, she's familiar with this too. So
I think we've all been kind of fighting the same fight. CPAC did hold an open forum a few months back, and Dr. Gallucci did speak at that meeting. Maybe it's time to move forward with a second meeting. And it goes back to the same point. We need participation. We need parents to attend these meetings. So I will talk to Jackie Roy, our liaison, and see what we can do to get an additional meeting going.
The question to you then is respect to that, to your group meeting, are the parents being connected with the special ed teachers on that, and are they helping with that to maybe encourage that so that they participate in these things? Because the kids are going to need this, because eventually, what if the parents aren't here? These kids need to be able to be self-sufficient within a certain amount of reason. So,
So Jason, I'm not 100% sure what you're asking, but so to run the meeting, we would need, it would be a school-run meeting, a meeting run by the school department for the parents to ask questions.
Okay. Well, I guess what I'm saying is when these parents, when they're working, when the teachers are working these different special ed teachers and stuff, and they connect with the parents usually as well as the kids. So I'm just wondering if they're bringing that up and really encouraging it in addition, is what I'm saying. Not just, when they're working with the student, and they connect also with the parents, because usually with special ed, the parents are connected with the IEP. And I'm wondering if they're bringing that up.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak on behalf of my son. I speak to my son's teacher weekly.
Right.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's why I said the special ed teachers are going over and above in the Revere school system, but they're only able to work with the tools that they're getting, but they are reaching out to the families, and that I know. And I was basically misinterpreted. Asma, you were on that meeting when I was called out saying that I was downgrading the special ed teachers, and I was not. I was upset with the process. That's an administration
problem, Ralph, and that's what you want to make clear, is that it's an administration problem, not the special ed teachers, because they're doing, you're right, with what they have. It's not them, it's the people that make those decisions is the problem, and that's the difference. I think that's the issue where the interpretation came in.
Yeah,
people are afraid to bring up administration, but that's you got to call it where it is, not that's hard, but it's the truth. So we have definitely two people that have worked that Enza works in the schools with special ed, and Pauline did too. So they know how hard it is and how much work they put forward in it, and sometimes it's banging heads. Yeah, well, no, I'm just worried about the parent participation is what I'm worried about. That maybe that's not being brought. Maybe they're getting so bombarded stuff, and maybe someone reaches out and says, "Hey, this meeting is here. We to show, and maybe if the parents realize that."
The other thing that I questioned, and I don't know because I'm not in that spot, is when they had outside agencies that used to come to the school for the social and the emotional. They were outside agencies. If those are still under contract, why can they not be helping these families still? Or are they helping these families because they were still under contract, whether they were going to the school buildings or not? They're not going to the school buildings. I don't know if they are. I don't know if they're on Zoom meetings with them, but why ain't they using that? Why aren't they using those resources? And the answer I don't want to have is we're in a red zone. Who's going to do it? I'll put it out there. I have tutors going into special needs students' homes right now.
Right.
And I'm not I won't say any parents or any students that are doing it, but I have the tutoring agents that are going, that I got a grant for, that are in some, but I capped out. I only had a limited amount and did that. And it's not an excuse that we're in a red zone. There are safety precautions that could be made, that it could be accommodated. So it's something that needs to be done.
No, you're exactly correct, Ralph. I mean, if Boston's going to go back in March, this is, and I'm going to put it out there, bullpucky, because it's just, there's no reason for it. These kids are going to suffer, and then we're going to suffer as a society because they're not going to have the abilities they need, and it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't want to be in that, where we become thought of in a bad way as a city. That's just not a good.
Right. Anybody else have any comments or questions on that?
No, I think that parents, whether you have special needs children or not, I think that parents right now are so overwhelmed between just trying to get their kids and keep their kids going. I know Zoom is difficult. I'm doing it in triplicate here. I do understand. And it's not just the Zoom call itself. It's logging in. It's getting the internet to work. It's in the waiting room and having the teacher being so overwhelmed that they can't let you in. So it's a number of different factors. It's not just one particular thing. And I think that parents right now are just so stressed out that, it's going to take a body to reach out to parents and not leaving it in the hands of parents to say, hey, wait a minute. I think parents are realizing it. Yes, Asma, you're in a predicament too, where you are not only, you've got the double trouble with the twins. And I understand that because I have 18-year-old twins. So I'm really on top of that piece of it. When you get it like that, you're trying to keep them safe. You're trying to keep them as focused as they can be. And then you're trying to troubleshoot all the other stuff on top of it. And so where are you going to get that extra strength to say, hey, wait a minute, I need some help? So I think that that's what's happened to a lot of families as well, is that they've fallen through the proverbial, or they're starting to fall through the proverbial crack because they are so overwhelmed and swamped. And I think that that's a hard place to be as a parent, to say, wait a minute, I just got to take a step back. You don't have the time, you don't have the resources to take a step back. And when you do take that step back, does the kid go sliding even further? It's a fine line that people are walking right now. And yes, something needs to be done. And yes, protocols need to be in place. Yes, we are in a red zone. We've been in a red zone. That's not anything new. And so now take what we have for knowledge and let's plan accordingly. Let's move ahead. Let's put things in place. Let's get things. We might have to start very, very small with very, very tiny baby steps, but at least a baby step to say, yes, we're trying this. Okay, yes, it's working. No, it's not. What can we do different? We have to be able to move forth. And now at least, yes, there are things that we know. We know what we need to do to be safe. We know what we need to do to be protected. We have that knowledge. So it's going to be multiple agencies putting all of this information together so that we can roll it together and get something going. And I think that that's part of the frustration. I know as a parent of 3, I've got 2 seniors and a sophomore. Ralph, I know you're in the same position because you're elementary and high school. So I think that we're all good, as well as you.
I have 5.
Yeah, she's got 5.
Yeah, all across the spectrum. So yeah, we're all doing multiple jobs here, and we are sinking rather quickly. And you're just trying to do the best that you can with what you have. So now I think it's time that all of the agencies get together. I think that until there can be some kind of.
And then on top of it, when you have a student, when you have a child that's disabled or on the spectrum, that just puts so much more, adds to it. It puts so much more weight on your shoulders, and you don't know where to turn.
Right. You don't. And you can turn. But if you have this agency doing this, and this agency doing this, and this agency doing this, until this, and this can communicate and become one for the greater good, then it's not going to work. You can have all the best ideas, but unless those best ideas can come together and say, okay, you know what? Why are we here? We're in it for one reason, and that's to promote our kids. So I think that that's what needs to happen first. And fingers are going to get stepped on, toes are going to be stepped on, people's feelings are going to get hurt. Let's get together and move ahead with it. And I think that that's, until that can be done, there is no easy answer. There's no hard answer. It just has to start somewhere. And I think that that's where it really needs to start. That's my piece.
Maybe, Ralph, there's one possibility that what we could do if and I know you have more connection with, because you're on the monthly call and stuff like that, and maybe to get because the rehab agency should be, as this agency should be getting involved in some of this, and also maybe having some discussions with companies like Comcast, for example, making sure that these people that have disabled children, people with special needs and spectrum for that matter, make sure they have 1 gig speed, for example, at a discounted price, so that they're able to keep things going. So they're not.
We do have all that right now in place.
Yep. Okay. So I'm just thinking ahead of what what they might be running into, and because that stuff can really become an impact. So just thinking ahead of where because Mass Commission should be involved. There should be Mass Rehab. They all should be trying to step. This is what they're there for. So I don't see. You know what I mean? It just doesn't seem that difficult.
Yeah.
Boston's doing it, so how can we mirror some of that a little bit? Not our fault, but what I'm saying, try to use some of that and find out what they're doing. Maybe that would be a reach out and see how they did it. Because I know they got more money, unfortunately, but we'll see what we can do.
That's always, that's money always helps.
Mm-hmm.
But, money's the name of the game, I guess.
True. But we can use their tools, you know. So.
Exactly. You have to learn from what works and what doesn't work. The way things have to be done.
And maybe check out the Perkins, Ralph. And the reason I'm saying that is because they've got one of the most complex setups, because they have students with severe disabilities, and I mean really severe, to the point where they have to wear helmets. They've got people that are deaf blind, so that's even more of a challenge, because now you got to touch the student in order to, you know, complete that, because they can't hear, they can't see. So now you have to use, you know, proper sign language. It's different. So that might be another tip, because they would have had to work around some of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, just another tip maybe to help work with that. Maybe they can come up with some ideas from that, and maybe you already have.
Yeah. Anyone else have any comments on it, or does any other members have any late items? Robert?
No.
Okay. I don't see any residents on here. I'm looking at the attendees. No, there's no one on that. So no other commissions. So we could, so item 8 was just residents' concern, issues, questions, or open forum. So we could move on to item number 9, which is the reminder. The Commission on Disabilities, due to COVID-19 and the safety of all residents, is limiting the in-person appointment due to the availability and use of our present office location. We still do not have an office location. I'm veering off the script, as you members can see. So basically, I am facilitating the office from my house, fielding all phone calls from home, and doing what I can from here. So residents can call. They can call our number, which is 781-286-8267, and they will speak to a 311 constituent service Monday through Friday. They should be able to answer most of your questions, but if they are unable to, or if you would like to call back from our office, just ask to be transferred to the Disabilities office voicemail, and someone will get back to you as soon as possible, usually within a day or two. The normal Commission on Disabilities office hours were 8:30 to 12:15 on Fridays. So sometimes if residents call after that and leave a voicemail, I've been getting a lot of voicemails on Friday afternoons at 2:30. And then I've been getting a second voicemail on Monday mornings sometimes from the same residents at 11 o'clock, wondering why I haven't called them back yet. But that's the reason. Usually we weren't going to be in the office until after 12:15 anyway on Friday, but I usually try getting back to the residents that leave a voicemail, if not the same day, usually the next business day. So I've been trying to be as the best I can on trying to accommodate all those phone calls. So we'll update you if we do eventually get an office, but if we do, that would only be by appointment only back to our Friday normal times, but that is not happening now or in the foreseeable future right now with the numbers that we have in Revere, the COVID numbers. I really don't think it's safe for residents to have to go out for any of these questions. A lot of the questions and concerns that you have, I'm hoping that I'd be able to answer on the phone for you, and do my best with that for you, so we wouldn't have to meet in person. So that's where I am on that. So as always, if you'd like something discussed or brought up at any of our monthly agenda, just please ask and I will add it. And if you'd like to speak on an issue or concern, you could also let us know, because the Commission on Disabilities is here to help and assist the disabled residents and families of Revere. So our next steps we have is Pauline and Asma are going to work on a criteria for the clear masks. I will work on finalizing that draft letter that we had created for the issues with the Shirley Avenue train station area down there, and also with the sidewalk parking throughout the whole city of Revere. Once I have that finalized within the next day or two, I will send that along and also send a copy to the commission members. Was there anything else that I'm forgetting for next steps?
Ralph, I'll work on an open forum meeting with Dr. Galucci for parents in the school department.
Okay, and you'll send me the CPAC January meeting flyer, and then I could see about getting that translated and sent to on our weekly meetings that we send out in the city, and actually ask Jackie if she has sent it to the Revere 301 to post on the city calendar. Did you want me to handle that once I get the flyer to get it on the city calendar, or do you want to wait to talk to Jackie about it?
No, if you can coordinate that, that would be great.
Perfect. All right, I'll take care of that once I get the flyer. Anything else that I'm forgetting? You know, I am old. I forget a lot of things.
I'm older than you.
All right. Next meeting is going to be Tuesday, February 9th at 6 p.m. Last year was the first year that we were able to have a February meeting, I think. The 2 years prior to that, we had snowstorms. So we've struck out a lot for February meetings, but now we don't have to worry about snowstorms because we're going to be on Zoom. So if someone would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And someone second it. And Robert will second it. Please stay safe. Please stay safe, everyone. Make sure you wear your mask, not only for yourself, but for everyone else. And let's hope, I know the Revere first responders are going to be getting their vaccines starting this weekend. So they're going to be getting the vaccine for the COVID, and hopefully, is it the February that they'll be moving into hopefully phase 2, February, sometime in February for phase 2, which would be, I believe, teachers.
Yes, so I think we're now considered phase 1C, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be in February. So
Okay. So everybody just be diligent, and also remember, if you do get the vaccine, still wear your mask, still wear your mask, still wear your mask, social distancing. Let's stay safe, please. I know it's been a long haul, but it's a little bit longer, a little bit while more, and then we will be out of the woods. Let's hope. 2021 has to be better. Thank God 2020 is gone.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night now.
You too.
Okay.
Have a good night, guys.
All right.